Good afternoon and welcome. I'm sorry that our space is so not able to accommodate everyone outside, but it's fantastic to have the energy of the compression here. I want to explain a bit about the series of events which we have at the center, of which this is one. It's a series called How, which is a series of lectures and demonstrations of how a piece is made. So it's not a performance of a final piece. The piece we're all involved, the theatrical piece we're all involved in making, The Great Yes and the Great No, is due to be finished on the 7th of July next year, when it has its first performance. So we're in the middle of it. We've had one workshop with many things discovered. We have another one coming up in September. So this is an intermediate stage of the project. And so sections have been worked on. A lot of sections haven't. Some things you'll be improvising for the first time, but to give some sense of the process of making. But to give a basic introduction to the project. This is a project about a boat trip between Marseille in France and Martinique in the Caribbean in 1941. It's during the Second World War. The Germans have invaded and conquered France. And so there are many refugees trying to flee France from the Nazis. So it's communists, it's homosexuals, it's artists, it's Jews. It's many people trying to leave across the ocean, across the Atlantic Ocean. So in that sense, there's echoes of migrants trying to flee one country to a place of safety today. It also has echoes of earlier journeys across the Atlantic of slaves that were brought from Africa to the Caribbean. Martinique, as we know, is this tiny island. It's about the size of from here to Pretoria. And it's right at the edge. If you're sailing from France towards Central America, it's the first island you hit. And it's a tiny island that was immensely rich with the sugar it produced under slavery for France. And this is the era, this is the terrain. It's a tiny island, but very interesting people came out of this minute island. The poet Anna Seghers, and the student of Anna Seghers, Frantz Fanon, and the wife of Anna Seghers, Suzanne Seghers. There was a whole intellectual ferment that came from Martinique to France and went back to Martinique. But we're on this boat that's traveling that's called the Capitaine Paul Lemaire, was the actual ship, from Marseille to Martinique. And there were three key phrases that we had in our head when we started this project. One is, the world is leaking. What is the state of the world we are in, both in 1940 and now? The second phrase was, the dead report for duty. So on this boat, we both have characters who are there and other characters we can call up. And the third phrase was, the women pick up the pieces. And so for that, we have a chorus of women. There are many other actors, but today we're just focusing on a couple and primarily on the work of the chorus. It's an era in which the surrealists were trying to escape from France and go to Martinique, particularly the surrealist Andre Breton, who was on that actual journey. So we also look at the way of thinking about art from that era, where dreams were allowed to have their place, where the fantastic could come in and disrupt conventional activities. And it was very much in this language that Anna Seghers was writing in his great poem, A Notebook of a Return to the Native Land, which was written in 1938, but which still has a lot of echoes today. And the text that we've put together that is under construction is a collection of phrases from many, many different sources. It's a collage. It's not a text that I've written. I've assembled it from much better writers, people who know how to write. And so, for example, the first chorus, just to read you this so you understand how it's put. Now the house of justice has collapsed. There has been wrong done. I ask for right. That's in fact from Aeschylus, the Greek classical writer. You whom I could not save, listen to me. Try to understand this simple speech. That's from Miloš, a Czech poet. No foreign sky protected me. No stranger's wing protected my face. That's from Anna Akhmatova, a Russian poet. I ask this bed, I ask this chair, why? Why is this age worse than others? You whom I could not save, listen to me, listen to me. Disaster has fallen on everyone, everywhere. Why is this age worse than others? Misfortune flows as from a water main. That's Mayakovsky. Why is this age worse than others? Shake the heart of this burnt out epoch. I take a brick to show how beautiful my house once was. That's Bertolt Brecht. Sing sorrow, but good will out in the end. And that's Aeschylus again. So the piece is made up from the chorus from many different sources. For the main characters who will come to, it's primarily the words of Aimé Césaire, the poet, Frantz Fanon, and Andre Breton, the surrealist writer. So what we're going to be talking and showing are different fragments in the way of working. But maybe at this point, Nhlanhla, I ask you, Nhlanhla Mahlangu, who I've worked with on many projects, is the choral composer together with the chorus of the choral music. Tali Machene, who's not here, is our percussionist. He's being stood in for today by Teresa, who is usually dancing on the stage, but is also going to do some percussion. Tulani Chauke and William Harding are actors, part of the cast. This is just a section that we're working with today. But Nhlanhla, maybe you'll introduce the chorus and just show a bit of the way of working, and then we'll get going.
Sanbonan, hello everybody. My name is Nhlanhla Mahlangu. I'm a choreographer, a composer, and a theater maker. And I'm a composer who studied dance. So I use movement to discover sound. Sometimes I use sound to discover movement. So I work in a way that is not very conventional to other musicians. And I would like to introduce our chorus for the great yes, the great no, just for you to experience their voices.
Mapule wakwamloyi Asanda Nabe
Khokho Madlala noma Thamsanqa Ngoma
Uzandile Hlatshwayo
Anathi Condra Nokuthula Magubane.
Thank you very much. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to talk much, but we are showing how things are made. So you're going to see their process. We're just going to start by a little bit of warm-up. Please stand up. Let's just warm up our voices before we start. Okay, just give me a semicircle. We'll start from the hira, hurry, hira, hurry. Yeah, just please come and give me your voice as well. Hi,
Yes, of
William.
course, of course.
William is an actor.
I won't. I'm never ever asked to give my voice.
Hira, hurry, hira, hurry. Hira, hurry, hira, hurry. Act.
No.
Okay, wait. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hira, hurry, and go.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
I'll sing with you. Hira, hurry. Who's got the hira, hurry from the audience? Just sing hira, hurry.
There we go. Yes, there we go. Yeah.
Those who can. Those who can. Okay. A 1 and 2 and 3. Go.
Hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
I am really missing the deep voice. Hira, hurry. 1
Yes,
and 2 and 3. Go.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
Very good. Okay, we're gonna split it. Hira, 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 hira. And also, don't bang the notes. Just like keep it very soft. 1 and 2 and 3. Go.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
Again, do it again. 1 and 2 and 3. And.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
Very good. Hira, hira. Also keep straight. Hira. 1 and 2 and 3. And.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
Okay, give me. I'll stand next to you. We go. Hira.
Hey, please.
1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3. Go.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
Okay, now Keep it soft, yeah? Sure. Keep it soft because these microphones are really powerful. Keep it soft, keep it gentle, yeah? Let it just flow out of your mouth. 1, 2, 3, and.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
We're going to the end. Hira, da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3, and.
Hira, hari, hira, hari, hira, hari, hira.
Okay.
Okay.
Be careful of that one. Thank you.
Okay. So there are a number of characters. There are a number of characters on the ship, and how do we show the characters? We show them very simply using a flat mask that's held in front. So maybe William and Nhlanhla come to the front, and we'll bring some of the masks.
You want to bring birds? Oh, we got to bring birds.
Okay, so you can start with that. So the principle of these is how still do they have to be? What is the grammar? How much movement can there be in them if we're using them? So because we're talking about surrealism, they don't only have to be the characters. So stillness is vital, but then you can also start to have the movement that. Okay, I should be standing there to give them instructions to see how it's... Okay, let's look at some of the other characters. So that's kind of an example of the cardboard mask. Let's look at Anna Seghers and some of the historical characters to get a sense of them. Andre Bretons, you can take the two. Andre... Yeah, that's fine. Those two are good. So here it's slightly more complicated because in the final production it will essentially be one angle of looking at it. Here we have two, so we're trying to find what is the grammar of, do you first turn your head and then move the mask, and then turn your head and move the mask back? What is the way of allowing an audience to both see the actor and to see the character? Lift the shoulders, Nhlanhla. There. So if it's very still, the way Nhlanhla is now, one absolutely is held by the gaze. So if there's too much movement of the head, one loses it. And so a lot of the rehearsal time and a lot of the making is actually trying to understand what it is, what the object is, what the mask is telling you about how to perform in it. Okay, we're going to keep moving on. We're running out of time already. I can feel the pressure of it. Okay. Okay, let's change to the coffee pots. In this piece, we're talking about also in the 1920s in France, we had Anna Seghers, we had Léopold Senghor, we had Suzanne Césaire, who founded what was called the Negritude movement. There were Africans from French colonies, there were black people from French colonies who came back to France to do their university education, And it was a movement, a literary movement about being both of France and not of France, and of a writing that came out of France but which was against French colonialism. And so on the boat we both need to have representatives of French colonialism as well as the main characters of Césaire and Fanon and Suzanne. So one of the things we have to work out, how do we explain this to an audience? How do we give the historical context? So we're looking at some archival footage, and we're just at the beginning of this gathering it. And we decided for these characters, one of the ways we'll work with them as images is of these coffee pots as the French bourgeoisie, as the French colonialists on the boat. So let's have a look at what we were working on earlier today, which was for the first time trying to put together some of the archival footage together with the masks. Okay, good luck. You need to keep the language flowing much faster. Keep going and stand close together. And for the moment, keep yourselves just at a slight angle back here so everybody can get a sense of the masks together. Close to your face. Okay. You must probably swap sides because you've got your... Yes. That's the other side there. Okay.
William?
Yes?
If we can use diagonals as much as possible so that the audience this side can experience the...
Okay. We'll shift backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Okay? I think, William, if you face towards us slightly, yeah, and to line you that way. Then we each have, okay. And William, go.
J'assume à partir d'aujourd'hui le gouvernement de la France, sûr de moi et de notre admirable armée. Amis français, il faut choisir, il faut choisir, il faut choisir. Les chefs ont choisi, ils ont choisi l'exil et le retour au passé. Moi j'ai choisi la France et son avenir.
Okay. That gives us a sense of how we're trying to work with the flat masks and what the problems and constructions are. But let's get on to another section. What we're working on are a series of fragments, and we're going to see how they fit together to construct the whole narrative. There's lots of spoken text which we're not dealing with today of the main characters. So I want to look mainly at the images, trying to work out how do images and voice go together. So maybe let's work on the bird chorus for a moment. This was saying that within the world of surrealism, there's a space for dreams, for the fantastic to emerge. And this was a dream I had of a chorus of birds sitting in like a jury box, a box. And I never generally work with dreams as a source for work, but I thought because we're working with the surrealists in this project, let's try to reconstruct this image of this bird chorus, bird both as a jury and as a chorus. So we've played with this a tiny bit, but again, you're seeing work under construction. So Joshua over here is going to be playing the video to try to follow the singers, and we'll see what kind of emerges. And it's not that it has to be right now, it has to, so is there a possibility of this developing into something that will come in? And once it's there, we'll see, well, does it make any sense? Who are these birds? What are these characters? But at this stage, we're not there yet.
All right, but
Yeah.
Josh, are you ready? Just the context, we don't have we usually have Uthandi Ndule as our pianist, and she's not here in the room. So in instances like those, we get our keys from our white blood corpuscles.
Okay. So who gives the key?
Okay, stand by, Zen. And cut it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. You know, you get each person first before we're coming in the chorus. Yeah? Let's do it again, please. And just relax and breathe. Josh?
Energy.
Okay. And goes on again.
Okay. Let's do it this time with further energy, slightly wilder.
Let's push it forward, yeah?
Yeah. The birds are less in control or more vehement.
Yeah, and
like a
also,
seagull, the noise of a seagull.
Remember the second time after 111 is Zandi alone to go ha. Yes. Yeah? And then we have a unison. All right? Let's do it again. Got it?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah? Let's do it again. 111, then Zandi alone, and then you come ah. Yeah? Got
Can I ask you to say a bit about different voices and the singing?
Very good, thank you.
Okay. So Tuli, I want Tuli to, from the inside, what the singing of the chorus is like. Because Tuli sang in many different, I don't know if those of you who saw the Head and the Load heard that extraordinary siren at the beginning. So that was Tuli for that. And here there are also different voices. Sorry.
Okay, so this chorus was a little bit different to what I'm used to. It was a welcome, a breath of fresh air. And what we do here is basically we work with a lot of our nasal resonance chambers and our chest resonance chambers. So we usually work with head voice and chest voice. What you heard in the beginning, we're in our nasal, which is in our mask. It pushes the sound out to the front, and it has a it's kind of like when a ship cuts through water. That's what it's doing kind of to your ear. It doesn't sound pleasant, but you're like, okay, I can listen to it. I can take it. And then when we bring it in a little deeper into, we are now in our chest resonance. The body is now more involved in the sound. Whereas in the beginning of the part, we're using more of our head and our mask. And once we, go into the song, we start putting more of our body into it, and it lends the weight of your body lends itself to the sound you're creating, which is why we can make it sound a little heavier or a little darker, just so you can feel, the heaviness of what we're trying to convey. Yeah.
And thanks for saying that, Tuli, because it's for their sins, because the chorus, because they're working with a composer who is a choreographer who who has so much body awareness. So I don't have I don't say, okay, it's a sad note, therefore it's a minor key. I don't think like that, but where do you feel the sadness in your body? Where do you feel happiness in your body? Where do you feel curiosity in the body? Where do you feel? So we place those things, and when you place it in a body and say, can you push your voice from that part of the body? It turns out, even academically in music, that's if you study voice, that's actually those resonators. They are there for a certain kind of mood. So I didn't study that, but we discovered that in a very, very unique way. So, yeah.
Okay. So there's... Thank you. Yeah. So maybe push the chairs back a little bit here. So Tulani, I need you here. So there were the surrealists, these writers who relied on the unconscious to develop their works, who were happy for chance to be part of the images they made. They had a series of games to try to produce new work. And one of the games they called the Voice of the Oracle. This is a simple game which we're still going to pursue further in the project, in which you write a question and you fold the question over and you give it to somebody else who writes an answer without having seen the question. And then you take your questions and answers. And the particular ones we're working with now was the result of a game between Aimé Césaire and his wife, Suzanne. So their questions and answers. It comes down to us as this is how the questions and answers did. Having tried to play the game, I'm sure they did a little bit of adjusting after the game had been played to come to these answers. But I wanted to show, we want to play with this part because it's also about finding the gesture. So a text which can produce a gesture. So we'll have the questions coming up and then an answer, and ask for the good work of Tulani to find the answers in the gesture, and Teresa to keep track. I'll keep out of your way. Are we? So and William, you'll do there's a lot of translation between French and English in this because the writers wrote in French. So it's a mixture. Sometimes we're in French, sometimes we're in English. Often the words of Aimé Césaire and others have been translated into the mother tongues of the different performers, into Zulu, into Siswati, into many other different local languages. And then it's a question of how do we play with translation, either having it spoken or seeing it projected. So this is again another test of, is this a possible way of working? So I think also, again, because of the way we are here, you can change between some answers to this side and some to that area there. Okay, standing by, Teresa and William. Okay. Wait, Tulani, just square onto us, I think so, and then to the other side.
C'est quoi la nuit? Qu'est-ce que c'est que haïr? Qu'est-ce que c'est la poésie? C'est quoi d'être dans le désespoir? Qu'est-ce que tu désires? C'est quoi la mort? Qu'est-ce que c'est qu'un rêve? C'est quoi le désir? Et qu'est-ce que je suis, moi? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire d'aimer? Et alors, c'est quoi la pensée? C'est quoi l'ennui? Qu'est-ce que c'est parler? C'est quoi l'harmonie? Qu'est-ce que c'est un offre? C'est quoi la vie?
Okay. Thank you.
But also, what's interesting is how a nonsensical gesture of the response, when the audience member is looking at the response and the gestural response, is that those connections, you actually make up your own story yourself. Like, you know, like this movement that Nhlanhla was doing, and it's about eating something, and he was just moving, touching his belly, and how your mind will just jump into certain things that we, as the makers, did not even think about. So we're very excited about that language as well.
There are also a number of pieces which have started as visual components, and then we're trying to see, do they both fit onto the boat? One of the questions about the boat, of course, is that here on stage we're stable, it's a solid surface, but we know that at sea, all that stability is lost, that you're forever re-establishing your balance. And so that's one of the tasks of the performers as we do it. How much leaning is necessary? How much do we need to keep the boat moving? If we have images on the boat, maybe we've got the objects falling off the boat, the still life objects, yeah? How much will an audience stand of the horizon shifting, and at what point do they just all get nauseous and either close their eyes or leave the room? And it's one thing to see it on a monitor of your TV screen of the computer while editing it, and another to see it on this scale. And the final production, the screen will be double this width, so to see also how does speed and stuff change. So we haven't worked on any music or anything for this, but maybe Koko, you and Mapule can come and watch, and you'll make sounds as it slides from side to side. Or you all can bring your chairs and have a watch. Okay, this is unknown terrain. We know there will be music that goes with it, but there may be a whole other performance as well with it, with the sections. So rather put yourself where you can see the screen. It's really to get the sounds of the boat and things sliding from side to side. And it's allowed to be a disaster. Okay. Okay, Josh, should we? So this is about, yeah, the 1 minute one, right? Yeah, okay.
Have fun.
Okay. Oh, you can give us a groan of the boat, the sound of the boat. And then it can get louder as it slides. And the thump as it hits.
Keep going. Sometimes can interrupt the mood of this.
And Santa, you will need your voice also. And low sounds. Yeah. And then two coffee
Work with
pots.
the slide, work with the slide. As it moves faster, push
And
it,
the second
push it
one.
faster.
Okay. Okay, that's all. That's all. So
Great.
that's a beginning. It's the first time it's been seen by the chorus, and we'll see where it comes on and how wild it can be. But now the other pieces which are just for which we don't have all the instruments. Eventually we'll be joined by a piano, the percussion, a cello, and a banjo. But that will be in our workshop in September. So there's some material at the moment we've just got with recorded sound. And the coffee pots, the characters of the coffee pots, at a certain point we need them to be able to disintegrate, for them to be thrown overboard the ship. And we're looking at different ways of playing with them. We've got the masks, we've got the photo montage that you saw in the archival footage. And this is a different piece which Janus and Jean and the editors are starting to put together of one of these, a collage of a coffee pot character. So I want you just to listen to the music, because we're going to come back to that in the next section, particularly Mapule and Tuli. Okay?
Les seuls qui jamais ne grondent, toujours charmants, toujours heureux, il n'est qu'un ciel au monde. C'est ton ciel d'azur, c'est ton air pur, ô Marseille, l'air de ton vieux port donne les sons au rêve d'or. Ville sans pareil, vrai joyau de moi, tout mon cœur, ô Marseille, est à toi.
Okay. So I want us to, so that was a piece of French singing from the time, and I wanted us to find how do we go from the sense of the French music to very different music. And so we have a sequence of a descent down through the cross-section of a boat, ending up in the hull, ending up in the hold. And the chorus of women in this moment become also a chorus of slaves, of enslaved women in the bottom of the boat. So I want us to see how we get from that kind of music, and I'm going to ask Tuli and Mapule to kind of improvise with that. I don't know if you need to hear it again or that's okay. And you can...
Are you happy to hear it? You want to hear it again, or we'll just go for it? We'll have the piano intro.
Okay, but do you want to talk about it? Do you have advice?
Because it's a language thing and we don't speak French, I would like Tuli and Mapule to just capture the essence of the sound and just gibberish your way through it and with your voice. And because what's happening in the video, we see the top deck of the boat, which is the first class for the rich, and the camera is scanning going down. Then we get to the middle class, and then we go to the engine of the boat. We go to different stages of the boat until we get to where the slaves are. And the music, we would like it to move from this opulent sound that we've just heard, and that keeps on deconstructing itself as we see different images going down the boat. So we will start from the sound you've just heard, which we will basket for now because it's what we do first. Okay, and we'll do it on the megaphone.
Play the first section.
Give us the piano.
The piano and the first verse.
Yeah.
So listen, okay.
And the first verse.
Yeah, and the first verse.
Let's not do it for now, but then we'll just hear the piano in the first verse, and then...
Il y en a partout qui se croient des amours, en France et sur toute la terre. Et puis, au lieu de s'aimer gentiment, ils font des misères.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, so we'll give you the piano introduction, and then you'll switch the music off, and then good luck. Okay, it's allowed to fall apart, it's allowed to be a disaster, but it's to see, and then the key is going to be, and if you give a cue to Zandi, who's going to start us when we get into the next... Asanda, you are the one who starts.
Yeah.
Okay, and normally it would have, with all the songs, there are surtitles which are synced together with the voices, but we're not able to do that yet, so Josh will project some of the text so you know what the text of the second part is, which is a mixture of Césaire and many other sources from that moment.
Are you ready?
Okay, so piano introduction, then take us down the boat, and then, okay.
Here we go.
And go for it. And together. extreme slow motion. Is very nice.
Make it dirty, it's too clean. Make it dirty, it's too clean, yeah. Make it more dirty. Make it dirty, it's too clean, yeah. Thank you. And you can cut it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, and Nhlanhla, Tulani, and you can put the skirt on. Can someone help Tulani? Okay. So there's the character that Teresa is holding here, and we have to try to see if it's possible to have this on one deck. This is Josephine Bonaparte, the wife of Napoleon, who was born on Martinique, also on the same island. And so she's the one Josephine, and we have the other Josephine, who is Josephine Baker, who was the American singer who came to France in the 1920s and did different journeys across the Atlantic. So we have a duet between the two, trying to see what is different kinds of dancing between an 18th century kind of minuet and the music of Josephine Baker.
Do you have Josephine Baker's mask?
No, where's Josephine Baker?
Can we find her?
Earrings. Yeah.
Here it is.
Here we go.
Here's Josephine.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we're going to... So this again would be done with live music, but today we'll just do it with a recording of the music shifting and changing, just for a moment and then okay. Again, we can work with the music at first, then against it. Fast movement when there's fast music, slow, and then against it. And because we're working just with these masks, it's also possible at times to swap identity from a mask to change, from a man holding a woman's mask to switch and change. But in this case, they're both the two Josephines. Okay, let's try it. let's try the opposite now. Fast movement with slow music and slow movement with fast music. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And now bring your chair forward. Okay, I see that we're kind of running out of time. So we're going to end with, in fact, what is the beginning of the piece, which is the first chorus. So the...
Are we doing the double exposure?
Sorry?
Double exposure?
Should we do the double exposure?
Maybe not.
I think we jump across.
Okay, jump across.
Okay. So the easy part, in a sense, is assembling these texts, which I'll read to you again briefly. And then it was the work of chorus to find a translation which is singable and to work with Nhlanhla on finding how it all fits together. So my job in many ways is to work horizontally. Here are possible words, here are possible images, here's the way it goes. But then I'm very much reliant on what the chorus, because it's a chorus of soloists, as you've heard. Each one has a remarkable voice. And one of the things we work on is to find a solo for each singer as well during the course. But between the singers and Nhlanhla, to find a way not just of working horizontally, but working vertically. Because if it's all just clever images, then we haven't worked. It also has to have a kind of a weight, which always for an audience becomes also an emotional weight. And that for me will very much come through what is being done by the chorus. So again, the words were relatively easy, but then what's been done with it, and then also what's been done by the team of editors working, is a direction that feels where we're going. So again, just to remind you of the words, now the house of justice has collapsed. There has been wrong done, I ask for right. You whom I could not save, listen to me. Try to understand this simple speech. No foreign sky protected me, no stranger's wing protected my face. I ask this bed, I ask this chair, why? Why is this age worse than others? You whom I could not save, listen to me. Disaster has fallen on everyone everywhere. Misfortune flows as from a water main. Shake the heart of this burnt out epoch. I take a brick to show how beautiful my house once was. Sing sorrow, but good will out in the end. So trying to set a kind of an agenda for where the piece will go. But over to you, and do you want to say anything before we do it?
Like William has said, before we start, most of these poems were written in French, and they were then translated into different languages, and one of them is English. And we now hear them on a secondary language, which they were not written in. And what we did, we further translate them into our languages. So we translated them into isiSwati, isiXhosa, isiTswana, isiZulu, Sesotho. But also, in our translations, there's no one person translating. Every member of the chorus is translating in the way that they understand, and we pick up different pieces. So without telling too much, I just wanted to talk about the language and how, when something is translated into different language, how does the meaning stays or change, or what are the new nuances that we get, and what are the relationships between different cultures? Okay, are we ready? Let's relax, take your time.
Okay.
Iwi
inobungabalala indlula ezinye wena engingamusizanga nginike indlebe zama ukuzisisa le nkulumo elula ngobakaxaka iphalasa lemntu wonke iphalasa lemntu wonke iphalasa lemntu wonke jikelele jikelele kungani le ntorile iphile kundlula dingwane kungani le nkasile inobungalo indlula ezinye kungani le ntorile iphile kundlula dingwane kungani le ntorile iphile kundlula dingwane shilayini 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 kungani le nkasile inobungalo indlula ezinye ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi phokopoko ligobhoze lithi kopokopo ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi phokopoko ligobhoze lithi kopokopo ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi phokopoko ligobhoze lithi kopokopo ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi phokopoko ligobhoze lithi kopokopo ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi phokopoko ligobhoze lithi kopokopo ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi kopokopo ligobhoze lithi kopokopo ilishwa liphokoza okomfula usuthu kangwane lithi phokopoko ligobhoze lithi kopokopo
Okay. As part of the team. Okay, come back and come to the front. Okay, we don't see any questions and answers.
Thank you all.
Okay.